Hello everyone, this is Chaff Command Coffee, back with another episode of Dominions 4. Unfortunately, you're going to miss autumn of year 2. I thought I had it recording, but apparently I didn't. And before I checked to see if it actually was recording, I saved the game, and so I can't go back and redo those turns, if you would. So I'm going to try and just explain what happened. There was some quite good events. Quite good indeed. And I think there are some more. So, unfortunately, you are going to miss the battle for Lilithor, where we took the throne of the Second Age. So our first throne was conquered in that turn. It's down here. You will miss the battle, unfortunately. It wasn't too impressive, to be honest. It was just Wolf Tribe and a few wizards, but those wizards didn't do anything really scary. One of them cast Horde of Skeletons, like, twice, and that was it. So it really wasn't that much. It was quite a pushover, really. I was expecting the wizards to do something a bit crazier, but they didn't, so that was quite easy. We got a castle built in Nom. However, a monster boar is currently lurking in Nom, so I had my prophet move back and have my men patrol there this turn. I carried on. I moved my men from Lilithor to Golem Range to pick up units, but I didn't have the gold to train them because I was using the gold to build a palisade in Lilithor. I was debating between building a palisade and a castle, and I thought, given that this is going to be my central region, all around here, I will own fairly all of this. It will be pretty safe. I don't think I need to spend the extra gold, so I'd just get it going now. But it meant that my recruitment was quite light last turn. Anyway, let's get to the messages. Oh yes, and the last thing I forgot to mention, which is this. Oakstrong has searched Brightgate for magic sites. Oakstrong is a lumber construct that randomly joined me via an event. So, we have a lumber construct, which is a level 2 nature mage, and a decent chassis to put magic gear on and let him go crazy in combat. And if I get some alteration magic, he can cast personal regeneration on himself and things like that. He also has a map movement of 3, so he can keep up with my army. He is brilliant. He is amazing. The only thing that lets him down is this. He never heals unless he is in a he has access to a lab. So yes, regeneration is going to be very important, because if he comes out of a battle with some damage and goes into another battle, he will almost definitely die. He won't restore it over time unless he is in a lab. He can go underwater. He's not very good going underwater. He's a poor amphibian, but he can do it. But I think what I'll be probably using him for is I'm going to use him to... first, he's going to be running around site searching. And then secondly, he's going to... Well, I actually want him... He has a siege bonus of 10, so I'm going to have him come over to Mexico and help bring the walls down quickly. But I will be using him as a thug in the upcoming war with Syria. I'm going to equip him with anti-fire gear to combat their fire wizards, and then have him wade into their lines. And I've noticed their army is mostly Abyssians, which is kind of scary, given that means I can't use fire weapons to actually damage them. So instead I'm going to have to find something else to forge him. Probably a blood weapon from Construction 4. I'm sure there's some blood weapons from Construction 4. He might even just forge himself a Thistle Mace. Just rock that into combat. Like, it will mostly be the armor I'm worried about giving him, because he's so strong. He can even kill things with his fists. It's just that his natural protection is good, but that can be bolstered even further by putting gear on top of that. I will try to improve his magic resistance somehow. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do that. I'd have to recruit an Earth Mage and then get him to make a Lodestone amulet, because I don't have access to astral magic. But I will want to... he is mindless, so he can't be hit by certain spells. Like Mind Burn. Mind Burn might be actually affecting my wizards quite a lot, with the Dustwalkers being astral mages. And whilst he does have low attack and low defense skills, I can sort them out with magic items. So he will be used as a fairly strong combatant, once we get him to the front line. But right now I want him to siege Mexico and just search for magic sites. Right, moving on. I need to improve the province defense in Lille d'Or just a little bit. Whilst the army's there, it's not too important, but I do want them to do that. This was the throne of the Second Age, which spreads our dominion quite well, and our blessed troops get +1 strength, which means our sacred goblins, if I can just find them, now have 10 strength when they are blessed. So they are human, they have average human strength of 10. So for a goblin, pretty impressive. These guys will gradually become more and more impressive as the game goes on, as we capture more thrones. So keep an eye on them. Eventually they're going to turn into little death machines, and I'm going to have so many of them. Oh yes, I can recruit almost 10 per turn, and I have been recruiting 10 per turn most turns. So yes, we will have an army of many goblins. Now, Badawi is going to continue site searching. This scout's going to move down to the throne here. I'm just going to try and see if I can go through all my scouts. It's just commanders I have left to use. Ilatos came back with his army from Duvan. He did that so he could search for a cult of Gaia, which is gaining too much prominence in my lands, and he's just going to go and he's just going to find them and murder them, probably. I'm going to recruit. I am going to recruit another mounted commander here just to lead these cavalrymen. I will probably want to be using them in the war against the Syrians. And I sent 2 commanders to Golem Range to pick up units. Unfortunately, we don't have any units ready to pick up. So one of them is going to go to Saltnaham, and I'm going to focus this turn on building a lot of goblins ready for the invasion. I'm hoping as well, once we've taken Mexico, if we have enough nature gems, Oak Strong can make us a few nature items that will mean that our army has the supplies to doomstack Syria's capital. But I'll need a lot of supplies to do that, given their lands. Their capital is on a wasteland and border mountains, as well as having very, very hot scales, which means that when I own it, the hot scales will reduce our supply limit incredibly. So this will be a really very, very difficult province to siege unless I spread my dominion. Syria is building up a huge number of units as well. It's quite worrying, and so is Lunawatia, really. I think they're more likely to stand off against each other than come for me, but just to be on the safe side, I am going to boost my province defense here. Now that I've noticed those armies building up over here, I would like to have quite high province defense. With my god and his main force being in Lille d'Or, I'm not worried about these ones so much, but Belmar and now Lunawati's 90 men, I should keep an eye on. In fact, you guys could do with a better front line. They could do with another 8 spin, perhaps. And I think I am actually going to train a priest over here. Now, the difference in priests. My priests are faster and better, so I'm going to train a high priestess. The reason I'm going to train a high priestess is she is an inquisitor. She's very efficient when preaching against other faiths. And I think what I'm going to do is get her and move her to Duvan over Sinextro. Move her into Duvan whilst it's winter, and we can do that. So I will be recruiting a priest here. And I think with the last of my gold, I'm just going to spend that recruiting a few more archers in Golem Range. My research is starting to drop a little bit, but that is because I need to focus on building the forces up for the invasion. Now, I'm just going to let the rest of the route, unless I can perhaps get this research a bit better. I improved my research. Wait. An incredible amount. I don't want these people to be blood hunting right now. I'm probably going to be using or sending these wizards out to Lille d'Or fairly soon. If I do an extra turn of, if I put them all to research, and then I can spend 80 of these research points. Well, I'll spend 79 of these research points into blood magic. That will mean that my blood magic can level up a bit faster. We will get construction 4 next turn, which will allow me to build some new magic items. And hopefully they'll make all the difference in this war that is to be. Army consists of mainly hydromancers. He must have got a random event where some hydromancers appeared in the desert. So, alright then. I think the unrest is dropping here. Very slowly, but it is. It's quite a... I mean, the population will grow, so this eventually will be worth quite a lot of gold. And I just need the unrest to disappear. I think the unrest is dropping here as well, which is good. This was from a random event. This was from a random event, I think. I believe our lands are more or less under control. More or less. Good. I've got nothing else to spend the gold on. And no more commanders I have that need orders, so we will just end the turn. Yeah, very sorry about missing the recording for fall. I don't think anything particularly happened. There wasn't those many big fights, aside from the battle in Lilithor, but yeah, that wasn't actually that impressive at the end of the day. It looks like we found no magic sites with any of my people. Napskabos. Uranocles the General, the world's most beloved hero, shall be known as the Prophet of Annabelle. So, we've seen this general on the Hall of Fame. So they've proclaimed him their prophet. An unexpected event has occurred in Saltnoham. Your armies have been put to the task of purging the province from cult worship. Followers have been harassed and arrested on scarce evidence, their leaders forced to abjure their faith or be hanged. Minus 320 population, plus 2 Dominion, plus 2 death. Well, the death is really bad, but I mean, I have a growth scale, so I think that I should still have growth, and that death will disappear eventually. That will tick down. And the Dominion is good. The Dominion means that my growth will actually be quite high there once it does go back up. And 320 people is... we have 30,000 people there. I probably get more people per turn than I actually just lost. It was a small cult, I didn't give them much chance. An unexpected event has occurred in Ablak. During the seasonal offerings to the spirits of the earth, one of them has indeed appeared. Orgias the Earthman has joined, which is another amazing event. I don't actually have an Earth Mage right now, so he can travel around and just search for Earth sites. Useful. Very useful. I'm going to send this scout west, underground, to look to see if Syria is expanding down there. And I'm just looking through my commanders quickly. This is my new commander, who I'm just going to give him some cavalry, set him to do nothing, set them to guard. They're just going to do some patrolling, just to keep Duvan in order. And I don't think I need to recruit anyone else here. Yeah. No, not really. I need to spend my gold elsewhere. We did get a new scout. Where do I want to send the scout? I want to send the scout into Modi. In fact, I want to recruit another scout. And 10 sacreds. Right now, I may actually recruit another Sun Pontifex. I want to get quite a lot of them for the massed priest banishing of the Syrian armies. Because that, I believe that's going to be the best way of dealing with them. Like, the Abyssian infantry are all slaves, so if we can just banish all of their commanders to death, they will just run away immediately. Tensrodon, I think you came back for units, and you can indeed take some units. And now that we've actually purged that cult, Eliatos and Tensrodon can both move out. They have a lot of sacred units, so I would like them to be travelling around with my god. Or at least my prophet. I might move... these two commanders might actually move over to Nom. And then I can have a pincer attack, so I can have one attack that shuts Belmar down, and one attack that shuts Syria down. From the Plane of Memories. I will need to get some nature items to boost my supply limit if I want to do that strategy. But if I can get it to work, we'll get both of their castles under siege immediately and they won't be able to reinforce them. So I think that might be the best idea. Although it would mean going to war with Lunawatia as well. So I am going to need the extra men over in the west. So we are going to get these two to start moving out. They can go all the way to Brightgate, and I think from Brightgate they can go to Nom as well. So I'm not sure because of the forest there. They might not be able to do that. They can go to Duvan and then they can cross the river here to Nom. So actually, can they just go straight to Sinextro? No, you can't. Okay, we'll go to Duvan and then just cross to Nom. The High Priestess here, we're going to move to Duvan. She can start... oh, Forest of Gila has enemy dominion. Go get rid of that. That's bad. Get rid of that. Right, my 2 site searches can just continue what they're doing. I'm not going to site search these wastelands just yet. Wastelands are good to site search. They have a higher chance for magic sites. I think especially for fire sites and blood sites, it's pretty good. But it's also very close to my enemies, and it means I could site search Witherland. I think site searching Witherland might be alright. Solve, what do I want you to do? You have this big ass army with you, but I don't think you have many places you can supply them. I mean, you could move to Ophalaf. Yeah, move to Ophalaf. Do that. I think just by existing there, he will increase his dominion there because he is a god. You can't really deny the existence of a god if he's standing right there breathing fire at you. Let's see. I could do with, I recruited a bunch of Sacreds. Might just get some more archers here, just to bulk the borders up. Emazar has moved. Oh, they are indeed moving quite a lot of men. I'm expecting these men to actually go for the throne and not for me, but it's quite possible, so we're going to actually recruit some more men. Just to make our borders look a bit scarier. Now, we finished our construction research, so I'm going to move our research to blood magic. I may get blood magic to... well, actually first I should check what I can build, because this will make all the difference. What can I build? Magic Enhanced does give you a few extra things you can build. We can build the Sanguine Dowsing Rods, so I'm going to get all of these mages here to start building Sanguine Dowsing Rods. Oh yes, just start building them. Get those Sanguine Dowsing Rods. And then this one mage I have in Golem Range, I'm going to have him specifically create a magic item that I need. I mean, the Sanguine Dowsing Rods you need in vast quantities to make my useless Blood 1 mages not useless when looking for magic sites. Not magic sites, when looking for blood slaves. So yes, I will be doing that. But this mage in particular, I want him to forge me something special. What do I want him to forge me? Now this is... yes. Soul contract. Yeah, one bound devil each month. And then this is the lifelong protection, where he gains some imps to protect him whenever they come near. It doesn't give you demons though. This one gives you devils. This is a very powerful one, the soul contract. It's very, very expensive, 7 blood magic. So if you start with a god who can just create soul contracts, like very, very strong, because you can just create loads of free devils, but you will eventually lose the commanders since it is tainted, and they will get horror marked and eventually get eaten. Now, the Heart of Life, that requires blood level 3, so we can't get that right now. Ring of Ensnaring Flames. Now this is fire resistance, and it has auto spell Ensnaring Flames, which is pretty good. Although it is heat damage, and I don't think that's going to be very good against the Abyssians, so it's probably not the best trinket I could give my my lumber construct. In fact, I think a Ring of the Warrior might be a good idea. The attack skill boost is the most important thing about that, although the Burning Pearl does the same thing and gives him fire resistance, so I might create a Burning Pearl for my lumber construct. And he's going to need some armour. The only real armour I can build is the fire plate, so I'm going to just have to make that. Unless I get my Earth Gnome. I can get my Earth Gnome to make some black steel for him, which is probably a bit better. The Dragon Helmet's alright, but I can get some black steel to do that as well. The Golden Hoplon. Now this is a solid shield. 23 protection and a parry of 9. Also gives him 10 fire resistance. I will probably be giving my lumber construct a Golden Hoplon. And it's not a Vine Shield. It's like, he could make himself a Vine Shield, that's what I mean. It's not a Vine Shield, but we are going to be going up against a nation that has both a Heat Dominion, powerful fire mages, and it appears the Dustwalker wizards. Those look like Dustwalker soldiers as well. Flame snipers. Flame snipers may be their sacred Dustwalker soldiers, but either way, the Dustwalkers have heat, and so they exude a fire aura, so if you run up next to them, you will burn to death in a hot province. So yes, fire resistance will be important. So I probably want to build at least some kind of fire protection. I think the Golden Hoplon will yeah, that should basically do the job. And then that saves a slot for a one-handed weapon. Now I haven't really got any good one-handed weapons I can craft. Wand of Wildfire. Now this is a good. The Wand of Wildfire is good. Now that I have a high enough construction, I can get my Solve to craft a flame helmet, give that to one of my mages, and then they can start crafting wands of wildfire. And then all of my level 1, I can give them to my Sabbath slaves. And then when my Sabbath slaves have finished, once they've cast Sabbath slave and they wake up, they can just shoot fireballs, which is very useful. It's much more useful than them sitting there doing nothing. And since my Sabbath masters are just going to be banishing and not increasing my communion slaves' fatigue, they will be able to just sit there and shoot fireballs. So that might be something I need to get doing soon. The Flesh Eater, on hit chest wound. Now this is a good weapon, it has very high attack skill, but it does reduce your defense. It's more for dealing with a super combatant, as the chest wound increases their encumbrance by 5, which can be the death of a super combatant, as they will fatigue out and then just drop dead. The Heartfinder Sword. Now heart finding is, yes, it's armor negating, it's a magic resistance check, but it will instantly kill anyone that hits it, or is hit by this that fails the magic resistance. So actually, I think I'm going to make a Heartfinder Sword for my, does that work against lifeless creatures though? And because the Dustwalkers are lifeless. It only has 1 attack per round as well. It's not like a weapon I can swing multiple times, which means it won't have great clearing potential. Now this might be an idea, because its range is based on strength. So I could have my lumber construct sit there throwing these fire bowlers across the map. And this is single-handed, so I could equip him with 2 of them. They don't do any damage. I mean, they do damage based on his strength, and he has 20 strength. And he would throw, what, if he had 2 of these equipped, he would throw 6 fire bowlers, which have an extra on-hit effect of fire bond. Now the fire bonds won't be useful against the... See, the problem is, all of my weapons available are because I have fire mages. So unless I can find... I might just have to make an armor-piercing sword or something like that with the Earth Gnome. I think the Earth Gnome's going to have to do quite a lot of crafting, because other than the anti-fire gear, there's nothing that's really going to help me against an army of Abyssians and fire-resistant wizards. This Holy Scourge, though. This would... Is this the weapon I want to give to my lumber construct? It's pretty powerful, and if I gave him regeneration, he might be able to deal with the fact that he's got this. Although, Flame Boo is even better, and it is 3 times versus undead and demons, so actually, I'm going to be making this. I'm going to be making this. And then he can sit at the back line just casting Holy Pyre. He can just sit there casting Holy Pyre, and then when we actually go to attack the castle, or he needs to fight their god or something. I mean, their god is a Cyclops, so it won't work against him, but a Flame Boo is still going to hurt a Cyclops quite a lot. And even if he manages, like, I don't know, if he does something useful, like chops a Cyclops arm off, like, that's good. That's really good. So yeah, I will be trying, I'll get my god to forge a Flame Boo for my lumber construct. And because of that, I'm going to need to give him some different gear. I mean, this, even though this is a fire spell, it's still 10 fire resistance, so I think I would prefer building that over this. But I don't know if I'd prefer it over this. Why not both? 15 fire resistance. You might need more than 15 fire resistance to deal with, like, that flame bolt I saw hit the Minotaur for 30 damage. He doesn't need the morale either, so I think, yes, a Burning Pearl and a Ring of Ensnaring Flames. It's only 10 fire gems. I'll make a Burning Pearl. That'll increase his attack skill, so he's not completely useless. I am going to need to get a lab here at some point. So I'll tell you what I will do as well, is I'm gonna just move one of my level 1 mages with no experience over to Lilithor. It's gonna take him a couple of turns, but it's not a rush. It's not a rush. I'm also gonna need a mage to move to Duvan as well. I should start moving mages to Duvan. In fact, I should move 3 mages to Duvan, and the reason for this is I have 2 commanders with lots of soldiers going to Duvan, Duvan is a 9,000 population province, and I'm about to have 3 sanguine rods next turn, so I can actually, in earnest, begin blood hunting. So I should start moving these level 1 mages towards Duvan. In fact, I could move 6, but that might be a bit overkill. I would absolutely chew through this population, so I think I'll just move 3. 3 might be a bit too much, but they are only level 1, so... And I do have quite strong growth scales. Not here, I don't. My Dominion hasn't spread quite yet. But, yes. It will spread, it will spread. My god's going to be here. I'm going to build more temples. And I should get some more priests out soon. Now, I am aware that it is getting a little late in the video in terms of time. So I'll go over the messages. If there's nothing particularly pressing, I may just blitz through the turn. Since it is late winter, we're almost over the 2nd year. Our research in blood magic finished, because we have enough wizards to do that very quickly. Audias has searched the block for magic sites, but none was found. So there's no earth sites there. Well, there might be earth sites, but he can't find them. We saw Lycia. I don't think I've seen Lycia fight a army yet. Oh, they attacked the Throne of Ascension. So Lycia's army currently is composed of barbarians and lizard warriors. Lizard warriors are very bad in cold provinces. This nation will be very easy to conquer. Their men will fall unconscious in seconds. They are, yes, they will. They have encumbrance 9, and that's just from cold climate 1. If they had, if they were in a cold climate 3, they would have an encumbrance of 11, which means they would fall unconscious in, oh, 10 turns. And it takes them 2 or 3 rounds to even get in combat. Being that they're heavy infantry, they're quite slow. They're very slow. It would take them, yeah, it would take them 5 turns to get in a melee. If I just sat at the back of the map and just pelted them with fire spells, they would probably exhaust themselves before they even got close to us. So I'm just going to speed this battle up. It's very useful to see Lycia's army is in fact quite weak to us. Ah, the sacred units. Green Hierophants from Lycia. They are pillaging. They have poison barbs. Units covered in poisonous barbs. They bite and have an axe. I think these are Sobex. They're like the higher. They're the bigger lizard men. They have fairly decent armor. They don't wear quite as much armor as the heavy infantry, but they have a lot of hit points for being so large. They're size 3, and their bless is Earth 6, Nature 7. The Nature 7. So quite a lot of magic paths on their god, but you know, a Nature 9 bless would actually be really strong on these guys. In fact, a Nature 9 Earth 9 bless would be insane on them, because they're so big and they have 2 attacks. It's really good, really good. But I don't think I'll need to worry about them. I think my Dominion and my magic paths are going to counter them just fine. So that was nice to have a look at. An unexpected event has occurred in Epernia, and treasure has been found. 764 gold, 4 fire gems, 3 air gems, 5 water gems, 3 earth gems, and a black steel helmet, so I don't need to make one of them. I'll just give that straight to the lumber construct. We are still trying to destroy the gate at the fort in Mexico. We're still trying to do that. I really should have... I mean, would I have been using this castle? I can't even spend all of my gold to max recruit in the castles that I do have, so I think owning Mexico wouldn't actually change my... I don't want to amass units in Mexico anyway, because this doesn't look like a danger right now. Farwold is not a danger right now. I want to amass units in Duvan and Nom, so I want to spend my gold here and here, really. So Mexico isn't a priority regardless. I think I'm fine with that. Badawie's going to search here. The Earth Gnome's going to follow him. And we are going to... Yes, I also forgot to mention this event where we got we got all this. I got another event earlier. I think it was in the fall episode that didn't manage to get recorded. A similar event happened, but I got a magic item. I got the yes, I got a barkskin amulet, a berserker pelt, and a laboratory in Brightgate. And Brightgate is one of the provinces I want to blood hunt. So now that I've remembered that happened, I'm going to get 3 more of these wizards to move towards Brightgate, these pygmy wizards. And we are going to give them sanguine dowsing rods. And they are going to find many blood slaves for us, so let's forge 3 more sanguine dowsing rods. Let's just get them en masse. We need to start finding blood slaves to fuel our dark magic, our dark goblin magic. And yeah, as you can see, the Dominion is dropping very quickly, the enemy Dominion here. I'm going to have him search because I feel it's more useful that he searches than just patrols, but I want him to stay there to increase our Dominion. I could recruit him a few more archers just whilst he's sitting around. Now I could probably spend the gold somewhere else. Now these two, I'm going to leave one of these commanders I do want to keep here, although I could just use these heavy cavalry to patrol, to be honest, although I would like to put them in the army. Alright, these 2 commanders are going to move on to Nom. I think we should be fine supply wise, so they're going to move to Nom. Actually, to be extra safe, they're going to move to Sinextro first, in case Lunawatio decides to go for a sneak attack. So I'm going to have these guys attack the rearmost. I feel these heavy cavalry should be perfectly suited for flanking my opponent. In fact, I'll have them hold and attack rearmost, so they definitely target the enemy's commanders. I'm going to have my Sacreds off to the side here. I have another unit of Sacreds that I want in the centre. And they're going to be set to hold and attack closest. And then I have these this random assorted unit of Spearmen out front, which I'll put them... I think I want to draw the enemies, like, here. I'll try to draw them down a bit so the Sacreds have some time, so they can filter in. I think I might use this unit and put them slightly further out. That way we can have a very strong flanking attack. We'll completely envelop them on the north side of their regiment. Yes. And the cavalry should just wait here and then just ride on down the edge of the map and then just flank them. Should be no problem. And this is my other mage who is... Oh, I have a level 1... Oh, he was going to Lilithor to build a lab. Why was I going to build a lab here? Oh, because I'm building a palisade here, so at least I can train... I might turn Lilithor into a mage cave and just train, repeat recruit these level 1 Sabbath wizards, and then the Sabbath wizards will be useful to move out into the army when I invade, and before then they can just sit there researching. It means I also don't need to put a temple in Lilithor, and the thing is, the throne acts as a powerful temple, so I don't really need to build a temple there. I can save myself some gold. I will eventually probably end up building temples everywhere, but right now it's not a priority. Yes, the Avites still seem to be building up quite a lot of men here. I'm going to boost the province defense. Now, I have a general rule of thumb. If you want to keep the AI off your back, you should have your province defense to be 10 for every year the game has gone on. So now that we're moving into year 3, I think I want to start boosting my my frontiers up to 30. That way it should deter any invasions. I found that seems to generally be the thing that works. I don't think I'll need to boost it higher than 30 because I have my armies here and we're very soon going to invade. So no, I don't think I need to really... I'm going to move my scout actually into this throne just because. I think because of that I won't need to improve it any further ever again. I think 30 should just be enough, because I'll wipe out the Syrians and the Lunawatians next year, in year 3. This final wizard can forge me, so I forged the Burning Pearl. He's now going to forge me a Ring of Ensnaring Flames, which might come in handy. It's something to give Oak Strong, something to give him. And I think I've got one wizard here who I'm going to move into Ophaleth and have... Oh, can he not get to Ophaleth this turn? He can get to Witherland. You know what? He's going to go to Witherland. I'm going to build a sneaky temple here. I am going to build a sneaky temple in Witherland. And I did get another... I got another Pontifex in Golem Range, who I'm going to have him forge... Now, what kind of weapon do I want to equip my... Now, what I could do is just equip the... I could equip Oakstrong with 2 of these Scepters of Authority, and he would just be able to cast Combustion twice per turn. I think that's how it works anyway. I will probably give him the Black Steel Helmet. I may give him the Berserker Pelt. He doesn't really need more strength, but with the Barkskin, I don't think the Barkskin Amulet would be useful on him because he already has such high natural protection, being a tree. Does Barkskin stack? I might put it on him and see if it stacks once we take the castle. We'll find out. It will make him susceptible to fire. So the other option is to make some fire plate for his body armor, because he doesn't really need the dark vision. He doesn't need that much morale. This gives him a negative to defense, whereas the black iron helmet does not. I think fire plate might be the way to go. If I give him the Barkskin Amulet, the fire plate would be good. And otherwise, I may start giving. I might forge a few fire plates and just give them to my commanders, just so that they don't get killed with a random fireball. And I mean, their armor's so weak anyway, it would actually stop them from getting killed by random arrows as well, hopefully. So it might just be something just to give to my commanders whilst my gem income is quite high. Alright, I think that's it for this turn. And that is also it for Year 2 of the Ascension Wars. It is now early spring in Year 3. Salt No Ham is doing rather well. I'll leave the screen here. Thanks for watching. It's been me, Chaff Commander Coffee, and I'll see you next time.